Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my paper crafting YouTube channel. Today I am going to be making an A2 sized box that's filled with flowers. It is so pretty and I just love how it turned out. I have been having so much fun with dies from Scrap Diva Designs. If you haven't heard of them, you should go check out the shop at scrapdivadesigns.com. When you're there, if you make a purchase, use my code CARRIESTAMPS when you check out for 10% off. So here's the dies from Scrap Diva that I'm using today. This is a brand new die, this floral frame, but it goes with this already existing die set from the shop. It's the A2 box die set. Now, there are 3 sheets of dies in this set when you open it. So you're going to have to, get to know the pieces, and I am going to help you do that in this video and show you exactly how to put this box together, because it's just helpful to see how it goes together when you sit down to create yours. So there's 2 large rectangles in this that create the base and the top of the box. The base is right around 4 3/4 of an inch, and the lid is a hair bigger than that. So I die cut both of those solid rectangles, and I'm stacking the bottom one on top of the lid of the box, and you can see they are very close in size, but one's a tiny bit smaller, so I wanted to mark mine B for the bottom and T for the top. Now, when it comes to the sides of the boxes, the dies with asterisks on it are for the top, and you can even see those asterisks when you die cut the pieces. You'll need 2 long pieces and 2 short pieces. Now, there's 2 more dies that are very similar, no asterisk. Those are the sides for the bottom of the box. So you have a total of 5 pieces for the bottom and 5 pieces for the top. The 2 shorter pieces have tabs on the sides to connect it all together. Now, this has 3 sections in it. There we go. So you can have one that's kind of reinforced, and that's what we're going to do now, is fold over the reinforcement part, but only on the end pieces, these shorter ones with the side flaps. Only on those ones. And I like to use my crease tool to help really press that in place and make sure it's not going to pop open. So I've done that on all 4 pieces, so the 2 for the top and the 2 for the bottom. But I'm going to concentrate now on the bottom of the box and putting that together. I like to go through and fold on all my scored lines so those are ready to go. If you have trouble folding them, try folding it the opposite way first and then fold it back, and it really helps. Okay, now I'm adding some rip and stick tape. So it's double-sided adhesive tape. This is 1/4 of an inch size, and you can see it fits perfectly on these flaps. Okay, so I've done the side pieces as well. No, the end. We'll call those the end pieces. The shorter ones are the end pieces. I have the double-sided tape on those as well. Now I'm going to do the long sides of the bottom of my box. So I've got everything face down at this point, and I flipped it over so I could add on those pieces. So now I have everything face up, and I'm just scooting that flap underneath. And you'll notice I used liquid glue on top of my double-sided tape. That allows me to wiggle it around if I don't get it placed just right, and I feel it really helps hold it together over time having both adhesives. Okay, now let's do the ends of the box. So I'm going to turn this on its side, and I'm going to line up the scored line that's the edge of the box with the scored line where that little tab is. And it really comes together quite easily, just lining up those scored lines with the edge of the box. So there's the box with the 4 sides put together. Now what we need to do is remove the little backing off of the tabs, and then we're going to put those together with the sides, the long sides of the box. And you'll see now why I didn't fold those reinforcement flaps over, because I can hook this together, press that little tab into place. When I fold over that reinforcement section on the long sides of the box, it's going to help hold those tabs in place. So I like that. Another level of security for my box, right? But I don't have the double-sided tape on those flaps yet, so that's what I'm going to do next. I am a real stickler for adhesive. Like, I want to make sure this box is not going to come apart. So that's why I like to do the double-sided adhesive tape. It's going to hold right away, but the glue is going to be the thing that helps stand the test of time when your box goes to places that are hot and humid and things that might make it, pop open or whatnot. So here I am just adding that tape, peeling it off, adding the glue, and folding it over. And now the bottom of the box is technically complete. But you know, we like to decorate things. We're paper crafters. We want to make things pretty. So there are dies in this set that you can use to decorate it. This is the perforated, well, it's stitching. It's like faux stitching that is going to make a decorative element for the bottom of the box. There's also two pieces. One is long and one is shorter, so you can do the sides and the ends of the box. So I die cut those from some purple gingham plaid paper. The paper is from Lawn Fawn. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I used something from my stash, which is totally what you should do too. Now you can also put this paper on the outside or the inside of the box, or both. But one thing you want to make sure of is you're not adding too much bulk to the bottom of your box so that it would interfere with the lid being able to fit on. If you use some really thick paper, it could make it harder to get the lid on and off, but this paper is not too thick, and so it worked out just fine. And you could also put paper on the inside of these side flaps if you wanted. Just up to you what you're going for, how much time you want to invest, you know. So there's the bottom of the box. So we're going to set that aside and move on to the top, which I am creating now a very thin frame. I want to incorporate the floral piece that I showed you at the very beginning. That's the add-on frame for this. So I just took that stitched frame and laid it in with the solid rectangle. Now I have this very skinny frame. Then I took the solid rectangle that's also for the lid and cut out a piece of window sheet. So I knew it would be the exact same size. I added some Barely Art glue to that frame, and I just took my time adding the glue, even though it was sped up here, so that the glue didn't squish out as much. I find if you let that glue just set up ever so slightly, it helps it not squish out as much. It makes it a little more tacky. Okay, so here's the frame, die cut from white cardstock, and that's going to go right on top of that skinny purple frame. But before I stuck it down, I wanted to dress this up. So I have some milled lavender distress ink and a very tiny ink blending brush, and I'm going to go over all of these flowers. There's probably like 527 flowers on here. Okay, maybe a little less, but I like to exaggerate for dramatic effect. So there we have the lavender. Oh my gosh, it's looking so good. But I just felt like I couldn't leave the vines alone. So I brought in some Copic markers and some bright and cheery green because I'm going to bring in some more of that plaid paper, and another color in that collection of paper is a bright green, so I thought that would go really nice with the purple. Okay, I'm bringing in another Copic marker just to add a little bit of shading to that, and then I thought I wanted the centers of the flowers a little bit darker. I wasn't exactly sure at this point what I was going to do with the centers of the flowers, so I just thought a little darker purple, this VO4, would be great just to kind of add a little bit of something to the center. All right, I added some double-sided adhesive tape, that rip and stick tape in 1/4 of an inch size, all the way around my frame. And I'm going to use liquid glue. I'm going to stick it down to this skinny purple frame with the window sheet on it. And that purple frame is going to show all the way around my frame here, my floral frame. Now, I really wanted this lid to be see-through, but you could do this without cutting the middle out of your paper. You could. It would just, you know, you could put pattern paper there, it would show through. You could also turn this into a shaker, right? That would be amazing. Okay, I have the same die that cut out the lid of this box. I'm going to cut from white cardstock. I need to make this lid a little bit more sturdy. So white cardstock it is, and after I cut that out, I went through my stash and found another rectangle die that I thought would be about the same size, just a tiny bit smaller than this whole piece that I have together, and that's going to make it just a little bit more sturdy on the back. So I'll add that in with some liquid glue, and now I feel like this is plenty secure. One thing that would also make it a little bit more secure is some really good window sheet. The window sheet that I currently have on hand, I would say, is somewhat on the flimsy side. If you had some really good window sheet that is a little bit more sturdy, you might not have the problems that I had, but I have that very skinny frame there too. So okay, now I wanted to bring in that green paper just to see how it went with my Copic marker color green, and I thought it went really well. So once I had those, then it was time to put the box together, the lid of the box. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, and that, I know I have this window sheet there, but that floral frame is going to cover those flaps so they won't be seen through the window. It fits perfectly. So I added on the long sides, and you'll notice on this one, the long sides have a hole. When you fold those over, it creates a finger slot or opening so that you can grab that and pull the lid up off the box. It's very handy. All right, so we've got the ends on now, and remember we just need to take off those little flaps and we'll fold them in so they come in contact with the sides of the box, and then fold over those reinforcement flaps, and it's going to help hold our box together, hold on those tiny little flaps on the end pieces. So isn't that a cool lid? I love it. So here's our last corner, and then we have to fold over the flaps to secure the whole thing. It is so pretty with that floral frame. By the way, there is a leafy frame for this box as well. So if you're loving this, then you might want to look into these add-ons, but you can totally use this box without. It comes with pretty things to decorate it. So there it is. I am loving how this is coming together, but we need a little more touch of green. So in comes that pattern paper to go on the sides and the end of the top or the lid of this box. And you have a nice little border all the way around those pattern pieces, and that just adds to the elegance of this box. It's so pretty. All right, now I decided I was going to put a tiny little gem in the center of these 527 flowers. These are actually from diamond painting. My sister does diamond painting, and one time I was like, hey, do you ever have leftovers of those? And she said, yes. And I was like, if you don't want them or use them for anything, you could send them to me. Maybe I'll use them in my crafting. So today is one of the times I'm using them. I've actually used them on another card where I did like diamond painting on a die cut shape. So I'll link that video at the end of this one. It'll pop up on the screen. You could click to watch it next if you're interested in that. Okay, so there is my 527 flowers with some gems on the inside, and this box could be totally done. You can be done with this right here. It fits an A2 size card, or a few actually. But I wanted to dress it up with the floral dies that come in this set because they're so pretty, and I am in love with florals again, like die cut flowers. I haven't played with them in a long time, and so playing with them recently, I put them on some bunnies for tails. Can you hear my puppy? She's like, hey, it's time for some attention. Okay, the puppy has been cuddled and I'm back. I am going to create some florals to put inside this box. So yeah, I can hold A2 size cards, but I started playing with these flowers and was in love. So I just made a bunch. First here, I'm showing you just the die set itself and what it creates. Now this comes with the box, but it creates 3 different sizes of these petals, and you get 2 of each, 2 large, 2 medium, 2 small. I cut the die one time to get 6 petals of white and 6 of purple and 6 of this orchid color. So I was unsure how I wanted to do it, if I was going to mix and match, but what I ended up doing is putting 2 large together, 2 medium together, and 2 small to create 3 different size flowers in each of the colors. And that's what is going to be like kind of the gift that goes inside this box that I would give to a crafty friend. They're going to be able to take them off and use them in a project. So I have a little flower tool. I really don't know what this is called. This was a gift to me. I didn't use it very much right away, but lately, I told you I've been making more flowers. I've been using this and it is so much fun. I did get a little bit of a thumb cramp because I made so many, but it was so fun to make these. So just 2 of those layers together and you get a really pretty flower by offsetting them. So with this tool, you're just going to rub the back side of the petal in a circular motion, and it's like a stylus tool, but the ball part is really big. And then this is just a little foam mat so you can press into it. Then I flip it over and do the same thing in the center of the flower. So I'm showing you each of the sizes, the small, the medium, and the large there. So fun. Okay, so I finished putting all of those together. There you can see them in all the sizes, in all the colors I chose to do. And then we just need to add a little something to the center. So for the smallest ones, I'm adding those same like tiny diamonds from diamond painting. I put 3 in there, and I'm going to do that same look on all three of the small flowers in the different colors. Oh, so good. Okay, for the next one, I have these rhinestones that are clear with purple glitter in them. And I find it that sometimes I don't use the largest size in my rhinestone mixes, and I think flowers are the perfect place to use those. So this one gets a big one. So these are the medium flowers. I'm doing all three with this same gem. And once this is dry, you can really see how it's clear with the purple glitter. So good. And then we have our large flowers. So I'm going to bring in a different thing. Like I just had fun. Like what else do I have that can go with these flowers? So these are purple with like an iridescent finish. So these are really pretty. And again, using that largest size of the rhinestone in the pack. So I feel like proud of myself. I'm using something I don't use a lot of, and I love that. So there's all the flowers, and now we need to stick them down to a piece of window sheet. So what I'm going to do, I cut this down so it fit the box. So it's about the size of a card front. I think I did exactly 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then I'm going to take some glue dots, and I'm going to stick those on the back of my flower, and then I'll stick the flower to that window sheet. And because it's just a small glue dot, these should be easy for the recipient to take them off. I also used my grid that I can, see through my window sheet to help me kind of line everything up and make it look nice and presentable. But you really could just take some flowers if you wanted to do the same thing and put them in the box. They don't necessarily have to be on a window sheet, but I really like that kind of polished off look of this. So I did the top row, then the bottom row, and then it helped me to more evenly space the center row. So there it is, ready to go in the box. Oh my cute. I love it. All right, let's do a little bit more. I die cut the entire set of flowers again from white cardstock, and I wanted to do one that was one of each layer. So a large, a medium, and a small, all three stacked together. So I brought back my milled lavender ink, and I am dusting up just the ends of the petals. So I'm going to do that with all three of the layers, and we'll just kind of do a more fancy flower for the outside of the box. So that's what I did. Then I brought in my V05 Copic marker, and I'm darkening up the center with some flicks. And this does not have to look perfect because it's all going to get layered up, and it's going to have a pretty gem in the middle. So don't worry about what the center looks like necessarily if you choose to do this thing with your flowers also. So all three layers getting the same treatment before they get stacked up. Oh, I am going to do the petal shaping with the stylus tool. So don't those look pretty? I love that with the mix of the ink blending and the Copic marker. All right, so here I am doing the flower shaping with that tool. And then we'll stack the three up. I have been using some hot glue for this. I just find it's the easiest. It dries quickly, it holds great, and it even gives like a little bit of a dimension between the petals. So it's like the perfect thing for paper flowers. So there it is in its glory. It's so pretty. I love the little eyelet edge to these. All right, I had an extra flower. I actually, had three, but what I did was take the largest one and I'm coloring it with YG13 and YG, I think it's 9. Two different shades of green, the same shades I used on the vines of the box, and this is going to act as some leaves for my flowers. So I felt like I only needed 2 to set on the side like that, and it worked great. I thought it was really pretty. So I just put that off to the side like that, and then I brought in these giant gems I've had in my stash for years. They're ones I haven't used much, so I was like, if we're going big, I'm going to use this big one. And truth be told, it's the smallest one in that pack. But I really liked the iridescent shine to it, and then it gave off a little bit of purple because it's surrounded by that purple. And then I couldn't stop. I brought in some twine. This is like gold infused twine, like it has gold thread woven into it. And I'm making a triple bow. So I just went around my fingers in a figure 8 3 times. Take the end, wrap it around, and then bring the end of it through that loop you just made. And then I just pull it back and forth to make the knot tight, and I've got a triple bow. I have been making these for a long time, ever since I learned how, like, I don't know, 5 or so years ago. I love making these. So there it is at the top corner of the box, and I still had two of those flowers left over, so I was like, hey, let's make another flower. So I did with just two layers this time. It's the medium and the small. I also had leaves left over, and I was like, let's use those, right? Don't waste them. So I cut these apart again so I could put these exactly where I wanted them for my flowers, so they could be a little more off to the side and just really tuck them up in there, and only a little bit of them actually shows. So cute. And no, I did not stop there. I kept going. I had in mind to use this Easter words die set. I really wanted to use the word blessed. I just thought it would look really cute on here. So I cut the shadow layer from white cardstock and the detailed word from purple cardstock, backed with rip and stick sheets. So an adhesive sheet to turn this into a sticker. And then the cardstock stayed in the die, so I just laid the die up against the shadow layer, lining it up, and pressed it down, and it stuck there perfectly. I love it when that happens. So I added this onto the box with a foam strip so it was popped up and just went right across the corner there. And I think this box is so pretty. But you have to tell me what you think. And I love to know, do you like seeing videos of paper crafting projects that aren't cards? Because I love making cute things with my paper that are different from cards. So boxes like this make me so happy. I love making them. They're great to give as a little something, and it's good to have on hand or to make specific for a friend. So there is my A2 floral gift box. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget, shop scrapdivadesigns.com and use my code Carrie Stamps at checkout for 10% off your order. They have a new release coming out on April 4th. That's super cute. So go ahead and check them out, and I'll see you all again very soon on my next video. Happy stamping. Bye.